Hey everyone, this is Ellis, and today is part 1 of how to do a professional trance mixdown. I'm going to be doing this series. I'm not sure how many parts it's going to be yet, but I'm aiming for it to be about 4 or 5 parts. This one's going to be on YouTube for free. If you would like the rest of the series, which is going to be broken down in parts, we're going to do setting up the DAW, mixing the drop, mixing the breakdown, and then mixing left to right, and then final touches. So probably 4 videos. If you'd like to buy the series, it will be available on my website, which is going to be launched at the start of October. That's adamellisdj.com. But for now, or if you're watching this and you want it before the website goes live, just drop me an email. My email is in the description and it will be at the end of the video. But other than that, yeah, this one's going to be for free, just kind of showing you guys, as always, we do a free YouTube video every week, showing you guys my 2024 process of how to mix a track down. So as always, like, subscribe, drop a comment, all that good stuff, and yeah, let's get cracking. Okay, so it would only be fair to show you the full track before it's mixed down. Now, I like to ensure that I mix as I go and get a clean sound, because it's a bit like my famous analogy. It's like building a bit of a wonky house and then, you know, trying to figure out how to put a roof on it. I'd build a house nice and straight, making sure that when I come to put a roof on it, it fits on. Stupid analogy, but what I'm trying to get at is that there's no point in making a track half-arsed engineering-wise, because when it comes to mixing down, you're going to have to go and make loads of changes, aren't you? I mix as I go, get every sound and all the engineering bang on, all the transitions right. That means that in this mix down, we should just be doing volume. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm in some kind of theoretical prison where I can't change something. If I need to change an EQ or sound, I will. But in general, the tracks, it's good to go. Now, why do a mix down? Well, most people do a mix down because it allows you to squeeze a bit more quality out of a track. If I know that I can improve my track by 1%, I will spend time to do the mix down process I'm going to send it you. I'm not going to go as far as people saying people are lazy if they don't do this. Some people just don't need to do it because they're methodical in the way that they make the track. They literally mix it as you go. But please do at least try this version. I could list a whole host of top tier producers that do this method. And ultimately, mixing down is there for a reason, right? It's a process that's been invented for a reason. We're going to play the track in full, pre-mixed down. It's going to sound fairly good. This video is all about setting up the mix down and then just mixing the elements on the drop. When we've done that, video 2, which will be available on my website, or you can email me if the website is not currently live. It's been, as of today, it's the what day is it? It is the 19th of September. It's not currently live. So if you're watching this after mid-October, go to adamellisdj.com and you can purchase the series there. Alternatively, you can drop me an email. It's going to be a 4-part series. Starting a mix, I'm mixing a drop, mixing a breakdown, mixing left to right in a linear format, and then just final checks. And I might even throw in a master as well, because I thought that'd be cool to see. So, well, yeah, I'm not going to go too crazy. This isn't a track breakdown or walkthrough. We're playing the track from start to finish and having a listen how it sounds. I might do a couple little bits of mixing as I go. Just if something's overly loud, the clap was very loud when I just played it, but I had the speakers turned up, so maybe it's that. Anyway, let's get cracking. Awesome. So, I mean, it sounds incredible. To be honest with you, I could probably get away with not mixing it. And I all thought, should I delete this video and just crack on? But of course, we're not going to do that, because what if we can get a little bit better out of it? Now, there are some stipulations to this. I am going to write down some numbers, okay, because I remember that some of these elements were very hard to get right. This section here took me about 9 million years to get the levels right. There's 4 sounds, and it just took forever, so don't be afraid to write some numbers down and then use the bus channel to change it. So what we're going to do is we're going to save a new version. I'm just going to save it as mixdown. The reason we do a new version is just in case we fuck anything up. And we're going to write some numbers down, like I said. So these counter melodies, they work really well. Just in case. I'll try and mix some out, but I might not need to. So we'll go with 30 minus, well, I do always minus 16.6. 31, actually. $4.5. 32. 11. Actually says minus there. That wasn't intentional. That was just to separate the channels. 6. So just in case I need it, I can always go back to that. The leads also took forever to get right. And I'm going to do that too. So 19, 12.2. And you might be able to start thinking, but Adam, you know, you're talking out your arse. You're meant to be doing a mix down. Yeah, I know, I get that, but it's worth having these numbers wrote just in case we try and do it and we can't replicate. I've done it a million times. I've come to mix a track down and I can't get it to sound as good. And I wish I could have remembered before, because it sounded better. You know, different day, like different, I don't know, different feeling. It could be angry, could be sad, could be anything could change it. Currently still got a slight ear infection, so that could mess things up slightly. It comes and it goes. I lose 5% hearing every now and again, every few hours. It's driving me bonkers. So these things are just tools. Making music is just about whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong. So if I want to write down these numbers and potentially use them later on, that's fine. Just remember as well, I can put all these numbers back to normal and just use the bus channel. So I'm still mixing down. I'm just not mixing down every individual channel every single time. 21, so that's minus 11.7. One of my biggest regrets in life as a producer was losing a Napalm Poet file, and that's because some horrible, will not swear, some retribute broke into my house and stole my hard drive, and it had that on there, the piece of work. But the reason why I regret it is because they're the best leads I've ever made, and they've got this kind of metallic sound to them. And I've tried a million times to try and recreate it, and I've just never been able to. So that's always really bugged me. Moral of that story is everything backed up on the cloud. 7.7. Awesome. So we're good to go there. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I'm pretty happy, but we don't need to do anything else. Go off here. By the way, the Logic update has ruined my life as well. Don't update Logic. Going from 10 to 11 has just ruined so many projects. So we've saved it in mixdown. We've got some numbers. Let's save a channel. And we're going to do the obvious task of turning everything down. Why? Because it's a reset. We want to reset everything. It's just easy this way. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go to the master. Now, Logic's master has a master and an output. So most DAWs don't have a master, so just ignore that. The stereo out, we're going to put at -5. You guys have heard me a million times why I do this. I have my stereo out at -5. I mix my kick to peak at -8. This gives me enough headroom at the end of the channel, at the end of the track. If I've not got enough headroom, then it tells me that something's wrong. All these sending returns are going to go to 0.0. And then we're going to go to the bus channels. So Excuse me. Probably easier to find them on here. So kick bus. This one's going to go to 0.0 because I don't want to adjust any volumes. So snare bus, -5. All the buses now are going to go to -5. I just find with this setup, -5 is about a rough starting point where we can mix all the channels in the middle, and the lead and the levels be in the middle of the bus. It might change, but it's just a rough kind of guide. 5 intro melody. So we're just putting all the buses to -5. I can actually do this to save time. Rise and fall bus I actually like to put a 0. Don't ask me why. Oh, I just actually fucked it up. I just put all the other buses. So let's quickly change our acids. The beauty of making music is there's no right or wrong, and I think people just need to remember that. I see some people's projects and I think, wow, how on earth are you getting such a great sound? It's just fascinating. But it works for them, you know? I knew it had happened. Using the mixing logic sucks. You can see why people don't do this, right? Because it's a long task. But again, this is obviously a bit dramatic, but it helps me sleep at night knowing that I'm doing my absolute best. I hate to think that I could do more. I'm just not that kind of person. Gotta leave it all in studio, man. You want to be the best. By no means am I the best, but I want to be the best. So what do? Give it 100%. Don't leave a studio knowing, hey, I could have done that mixdown, but I didn't. 5 vocal bus. I was wondered this. We put both of these up to -5. Is it just both at the same time? No, it does. That's handy. So you learn stuff all the time. Right, so that's it. We're good to go. So we'll save it. Next thing I like to do is a project management and a clean up, just to get rid of all any unnecessary shit that we don't need. We could do this in Logic. It's fairly handy. Project management. I don't know if we did a consolidation or clean up then. I think we did a consolidation. And then what I like to do is go to the bin, and in Logic I highlight all unused, and there's 4,000 regions. So we'll delete them. Don't confuse regions to files. I believe that was just one file. Somehow there's 4,000 different variations of that file. Cool, so we're now ready to go. We're going to start mixing the drop now. So let's go to the drop. And this video is just going to see me quickly throw together the drop. You're going to see me use some reference tracks. I never use a reference track to compare, but I will go to YouTube and go to Jamie Trance to listen to some latest tracks just to get a feel for things. Sometimes you can be amiss for thinking that your track sounds muddy and dirty. Then you go and listen to an incredible track and it's just like, oh, actually, you know, it doesn't sound as bad as what you think. So this is the drop. Just going to do a nice 8-bar loop. Now, the be all and end all of how I like to mix is that the master needs to show -8, okay, which means the kick is peaking at -8. However, we've turned the master down to -5, so you have to add that on. If your maths is as bad as mine and it's confusing you, just set your master to 0.0 and turn your kick up. Okay, forget the bus. Just turn your kick up until it shows -8 on the master. So this is the master. This is a kick. It doesn't work like you think it would work. Sometimes it might show -7.6. So you're 0.4 away from 8. So you turn it up 0.4, but it does not always work like that. I've given up trying to figure out what's going on and why it does that. But it just doesn't. 8.4, nearly there. There you go. Right, now we turn... Oh, wait a minute. I fucked that up. The master, for some reason, the automation is on. So, there you go. We've already found a little problem. That needs to be down at -5. Because we have the automation turned on, and the reason I did that is so I can... The track fades out at the end. We're going to have to see what it's saying now. So we want it to show -13. -8 on the kick, plus -5 that we've turned it down. Ah, it's saying -0.4. It's my fault. Look at that. There we go. Now, theoretically, I'm a decibel away. So, this should work. -8.4. If you put -6.4, we're turning it up a decibel. It should be bang on. Maybe I've just done that wrong. Oh, man. I'm getting caught up in my own shit. Look, this is production life, you know. We don't edit a lot of stuff out because we like to keep it real and have fun. It shows that people make mistakes. I don't want people thinking, sat thinking, oh God, these producers that have done all right for themselves, just they're perfect. We make mistakes. I'm looking for -13. I keep turning it up looking for -8, and I've just ignored the whole bit of advice I just give you. We've got to account for the -5. Because I keep clicking off the bus and I'm clicking on the bus now, so it's deceiving me. Look, it goes to the bus. So again, this is just, I feel like deleting this video, but I'm not going to, because I want people to see some realism, you know. We have to keep the master showing. There you go. Look, it doesn't have to bang on -13, you know, but thereabouts. We can now, I was going to say we could put the master back on, but we don't want to put the master back on because we're doing a mix down. If you added a limiting, sorry, what would happen is you would essentially, you're messing about with the dynamics of a track, which you don't want to do. You want everything to be natural. Dynamics comes in the mastering stage, so certainly don't mix down with the limiter on, okay? Cool, so let's just do a 4-bar loop. I'm just going to start mixing things. I'm going to try and push the sub up as much as I can before it gets in the way of the kick's low end. What I'm going to do is add a bit of compression on here, because what I would normally do is separate all channels and bounce them down to audio. This track is that old that I've not actually done that, and I kind of come to the mixdown process without doing it. It's ideal, I'd rather do that because we're able to have all the individual notes in audio, and also we will have we'll be able to mix them all at the right level. I'm going to do that in the last stage, okay, which is the final detail. So you will see me do that. For now, we're just going to add a bit of compression, which is basically going to mean that the bass level is going to be quite similar. Now we just want to mix the volume the same, so without the compressor. The root note is -14. Noticed a bit of a mistake there where the bass was not fading out, so when the kick roll comes in, and it's actually a mistake because just before this lesson I changed it before we ended the mix down. So that's what's happening there. As the kick roll starts, we want to fade it out. We had no kick roll before, so that explains it. As producers, we make mistakes, and one thing I've not done in the mix down process, or the pre-mix down, is I never looked at the octaves of this bass. It works great with intro and outro, but the problem is that the bass in the intro and outro is a completely different key to the drop, and now it sounds terrible. So again, just, you know, there are times when you're gonna change things. I'm happy with how that sounds. I might make some adjustments on a bus, but overall, I'm really happy. I can hear all the individual elements working really nicely. Mixing is not dynamic, or rather it is dynamic. It changes as it goes along. The kick and the bass might sound fantastic now, but when I put in an atmosphere, I might think, hey, I want to change the bass a bit. Please don't think that it's this rigid thing where it's A, B, C, D. Things change, okay? Don't ask me how, but some of these things are out of key, and I have somewhat of a keen ear, and I heard it. I was like, what on earth is happening? Crazy. You got to be really careful about stuff like that. I don't know how on earth that's happened. I'd like to play in Logic 11 the update, but it can't be. Just... I must have changed something and just forgot to change it back. But this is why we do a mixdown, man. Fuck me. Let's just quickly do these and make sure to bang on. It's a small change, but it makes a big difference. I think I've done it from this bass. Yeah, look at this. This is why it's happened. I've copied the atmosphere over the bass and then moved it back, but the bass is different. There you go. Problem sorted. So far we found mistakes in the bass and the atmospheres. Crazy. I'm going to mix in this section because there's not a kick stopping all the time, which is going to frustrate me. It's sounding good. It's sounding good. Let me, I can duplicate this. This would be really handy. And we'll compare the others. Oh, it lets me as well. Brilliant. So, if we remember, just for notes. Oh, I hope I've not. Have I deleted any channels? That's one thing I should not have done. I should have wrote lead 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I might have changed the channels by accident. I don't think I did, but just in case. Sounding really good, though. It's sounding definitely nice and tight. Where's leads? Lost for leads. Where's the first lead bus? Oh, so it is going to be different, but it shouldn't make a difference as long as the first one is 19. Yeah, that's fine. So first one's minus 12.2. Then it's 19. So quite a way off here. 11.7. Wow, that's way off. That's crazy. And then it was 7. So to make this a fair test, what we have to do lead bus 2. So lead bus 1 is peaking at -9. So to make it fair, we'll get it lead bus 2 to peak at -9 too, and then we can compare them both. Something's definitely not right here. Bus 1 sounds better. Leads 1 sounds better. So it's just fine tuning it. It sounds more alive. It's just, yeah, better for sure. This is where I'm going to cheat and go to Jamie Trance. And have a look at just some big name. Ideally no vocal. Just trying to find a big label that I trust. Cold Blue, he's always a good one. And we're just looking to on the levels, and we drop the level themselves, how loud we are, and the cleanliness, because my mind has a tendency to trick me into thinking that my leads are muddy when we're not. Okay, that's good because it's got no percussion in it as well, which allows us to kind of get an idea. I'm gonna put the limiter on. I didn't mean to put a mastering on. I don't use that crap. I'm gonna put the limiter on and then put it at 0.0, and then just turn the channel up a bit. Just when I'm mixing the drop, I need more volume, and the track is so quiet. So putting the limiter on will mean it just won't go any higher. It won't peak. So now I can get 5 decibels of volume, but no limitation. I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed another mistake with the MIDI. 5 years old, this track. Don't worry about it. We're just trying to mix down. I'll fix it later. Don't know what on earth is going on. Mind is blown. By the by. I'm fairly happy with that. Obviously, you know, I've got a long way to go. The next stage would be going through the breakdown and doing all the effects, the bass drone, all the extra little counters. So a lot of work still to do, but I'm happy with the drop. The kick and the bass is good. The pads are coming through nice, so the leads are nice. I can hear the atmospheres, I can hear all the mids, and more importantly, we have the power from the kick and the bass without being interrupted because everything's too loud. And we also have the click from the kick because also that's too loud. So yeah. Pretty happy with that one. So this video was for free. The next one is going to be a series which you can buy. So more, you know, more on that, more on that in a second. Okay, so that's how you start a mixdown. Video 1 out the way. As you can tell, it sounds amazing. We've basically prepared the track by leveling everything. We've moved to the drop. We've mixed the kick. We mixed the sub. We've done the mids. We've done the atmospheres, the percussion, etc. We've got to the point when we're now ready to move on. Now, in video 2, you'll see me mixing the breakdown, and I'll move left to right, doing all the effects, the atmospheres, the vocals, the one-shots, the bass, etc. Part 3, we'll see me then go to the start of the track, move left to right, and part 4 will be a final kind of rundown. So if you would like to buy the extra parts and finish off this series, again, you can email me, tutorials@lmlsdj.com. And you can also check it out on my website. If you're watching this video after October 2024, go to adamellisdj.com and it will be in the store. As always, we're going to announce a winner, so crazy drum roll. We're going to go for the winner, Eternally Free. I think I said that right, and we'll put the exact username underneath. I always get a bit flustered with these videos, but yeah. Just drop a creative comment on this one. Let me know what you want to see. And again, if you're interested in my tutorials or you want to buy this video series, I'm doing a really good, fair offer for you guys. If you're a subscriber, let me know because it's going to be a really nice, cheap offer for you. And yeah, you can get in touch. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.